And we're back with My Edmonds News TV. I'm your host, Teresa Whipple, and here in the studio today we have Sergeant Mark Marsh from the Edmonds Police Department. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
We are going to talk a little bit today about some of the criminals that the Edmonds Police Department is looking for, and perhaps our viewers can help with that. But first of all, I wanted to chat just a little bit about you and how long you've been here in Edmonds. You've been with the force quite a while, haven't you?
34 years, 2 weeks ago.
But you're not counting.
No, not at all, no.
Well, that's great, and I know that, one among your many jobs, because you and I talk a fair amount when I work for My Edmonds News, you're kind of the point of contact whenever there's an issue that gets media attention, and you're out there on the lines writing press releases and all that other fun stuff, right?
You could call it fun, yes, yeah, but I enjoy it. The interaction is a lot of fun, it is.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about this website that I think a lot of folks in Edmonds may not know about. It's called canuid.me.
Yes.
And tell me more about that, what that exactly is.
Well, it's a website that law enforcement agencies can subscribe to, in which they can put up, usually it's video stills or sketches of people that we're trying to identify and locate so that we can hold them accountable. It was initiated several years ago by a detective in Lake Forest Park, Detective Tony Matthews. He put together the website with that idea in mind, and now I believe that there are 37 different agencies that subscribe to it, and it's a great tool for us to use.
Very good. And again, we will have that URL for that website up on the screen for folks to look at, but it is canuid.me.
Yes.
And we're going to take a look in a moment at some of the photos that are on there that specifically apply to Edmonds, and you're going to give us some history about some of these, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
Very good. And we're going to start with one that I thought was really interesting. Just as a spoiler alert, the folks that we're going to be looking at have actually been caught, my understanding. But I thought the history behind this group of folks and the crime they were committing was interesting. So what can you tell us about the one that's on the screen now of this tell me about it.
Well, these three ladies that you can see here, this photo was taken at Burlington Coat Factory, which is in the 24100 block of Highway 99 in Edmonds. And they came in, and as you can see, they have a small child in the shopping cart. That actually, more often than not, is used as a cover when they go in to steal things. And they'll go in and put things in and around the baby, down their coats. You can see they're wearing rather large coats. Mm-hmm. And they'll shop around. A lot of times they'll bring in wire cutters to cut off any security tags that are on the clothing. And then typically they'll have somebody waiting outside in a car. They'll run right past the sensors out front, throw the items into the car, and off they go. Now, these three ladies were part of an organized retail theft ring that we worked in conjunction with Seattle PD. They have been identified and are being charged through Seattle because they had multiple cases on them. With organized retail theft, if within, for example, a 6-month period, we can prove that the same person or persons shoplifted, in a given area, then we can lump them all together regardless of jurisdictional boundaries. For example, in this case, Snohomish and King County. Mm-hmm. So this does happen quite often where we get this, people coming in to, especially a retail store that has different outlets, because they'll steal them, take them back and return them for cash, and then use the cash to buy probably narcotics.
Oh, that's fascinating. It's so interesting because you go into a store and you're not even thinking that all of that's going on around you, but clearly it does.
Oh, far too often.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. So let's take a look at the next photo that we have.
This young lady and her male accomplice went into an apartment building, a secured parking building up along Highway 99 just off of 76th Avenue. And they got into the storage area, and they went to the different storage areas and using bolt cutters, which you'll see her
I love that, by the way. It's just caught in the act.
Very photogenic. But they went through, and once they got into the secured area for the storage units, they went by unit, taking the locks off and stealing the items. And we have not identified either one of them yet, so we're very interested in any information anybody can provide.
Okay, very good. And next on the list, we have,
Now, these two people took advantage of a young lady who was house sitting for a couple that went on vacation. This was in the Shell Valley area of Edmonds. This young lady went out for an evening and was befriended by several people, including these two. They went back to her house, and at some point she was overwhelmed with the number of people there, and they stole a large number of items, a laptop, jewelry, credit cards. And this photo was taken at a 7-Eleven store in unincorporated Bothell off of Poplar. And we have not identified them yet. The young lady is very distinct, and so is the young man. But we're looking to find them because they did steal quite a bit of property from this house.
okay. All right, and then next on the list,
This gentleman looks rather everyday to us. However, his bag, you can see, is empty. This was at, I believe, the Burlington Coat Factory, and he went in, stuffed his bag full of clothes, and then ran out to his car and drove off. So this is another example of retail theft, and on the face of it, it might not seem like much, but granted, since he obviously came prepared, this was not his first go-around with this type of crime.
yeah, wow, it just looks like a guy who's ready to go on vacation.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, what's next on that? Oh, okay,
Now, this, as you can see, is a sketch that we had drawn up by the sketch artist for the sheriff's office, and this was provided by a witness to a residential burglary. Saw a young man walking around this house, and this was in North Edmonds, I believe, and just looked every day, as you can see, looks rather innocent looking.
yeah,
Leave it to beaverish, as
yeah, right.
somebody called him, and but unfortunately, after the people got home, that the neighbor saw this person at, they found that the house had been broken into and several items taken, cash, jewelry, small things that he could carry. So we're trying to identify this young man, and any help the public can provide would be great.
Okay, very good. Well, along the lines of, as long as we're talking about burglaries and home burglaries, I am sure that as we're getting close to the summer months and people are starting to think about their vacations, what kinds of tips could you offer to Edmonds residents about the things they should be thinking about, whether they're going away just for the day to work or going away for a few days on vacation?
Well, one of the most important things, and a lot of people don't realize this, is to tell your neighbors. Get to know them. Tell the ones that you trust, but let them know you're going to be gone. And if they see anybody around your house that isn't supposed to be there, to call 911. Even if it turns out being a relative, a son, daughter, we would much rather come out and check it than find out later that it was something else. And also be aware when the weather gets warm, it's very tempting to leave windows open, doors cracked. However, we have to understand that there are people out there that will take advantage of those open windows and doors and go in and steal you blind.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on an extended vacation, cancel your newspaper, cancel your mail, get light timers. It's even important you could put a light timer on a radio or TV so that it sounds like somebody's home. And you could even have timers go on in different rooms of the house so that it's not the same one every time. And it certainly, like I said, doesn't hurt to have a neighbor go by, walk around your house, water the plants, whatever that may be. But, anytime you're gone and you leave, let newspapers pile up or mail accumulate, then that is putting out a welcome mat for a burglar.
And that seems like second nature to me, but I'm assuming that there are people who really don't think about that, and they do go off and let things pile up, right?
You would be surprised how many people, I know my grandmother used to do this, that they felt very comfortable, especially in downtown Edmonds, with leaving their doors unlocked, windows open, but unfortunately those days are of a bygone era because we have burglars, criminals that come up from North Everett, Arlington, South Seattle, Tacoma, and it's very common for them to come into our town and commit a crime wave, and then they're gone. And without some really diligent police work and help from the public, we don't catch them.
Okay, well, that's really good advice, and I want to make sure we remind people what the phone number is. If they see any of these folks on the computer screen that we just saw, what they can call. There's a tip line that they can call if they have any information on any criminals that they might have identified through that.
Yes, our tip line for the Edmonds Police Department is 425-771-0212.
Very good. And also, just a reminder that if you want to go to that website that we had shown those photos from, it is canuid.me. There are photos from Edmonds crimes and from crimes throughout the region, so if you're curious about something, it's not a bad idea to check it out. Sergeant Mark Marsh, thank you so much for being here today. We really do appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And we will be back after a word from our sponsor. Stay tuned for more from My Edmonds News TV.